Hey
Hi.
y'all, how you doing? Honey? This is Lady Q, and we got Hoodoo Honcho. She can come back in the room. We started to do this at a restaurant that we was at, but because of the fact that we want to make sure that we don't get it, if you will, we want to make sure that you can hear us clearly as we have the audacity to talk about some things that we normally talk about amongst ourselves. And I want to thank a good friend of mine in Charlotte, North Carolina. You know what? You should share some. Really, you should share some of the stuff that you say because you got a lot of audacity. I'm like, wow, I didn't think that I did, but apparently I'm a Gemini. So Geminis, we'll say whatever we kind of feel, and I try to be very tactful. And for the most part, I think I've done pretty well over whew, probably about the last since 2015. I think I've done exceedingly well. But it's 2022, and I don't want to be aggravated anymore by trying to be so tactful and not expressing my viewpoints. You're not going to agree with everything that is shared, and guess what? That's okay, because that's the main point of this broadcast. So without further ado, we're gonna talk about what? Who do I Joe? What are we gonna talk about?
We are going to talk about how to deal with an unrequited crush.
Yes, but before we do, we need to define what is unrequited.
Unrequited is basically when your feelings aren't returned.
Hmm.
Unrequited, unreturned. Same word, pretty much.
Exactly. And the reason why we're gonna deal with this because sometimes people come and they want to get a solution. They want their love back, or they want a particular person. And as always, we always tell them that everybody's given free will to do anything. And just because you can, don't mean that you should. And we do have a viewer. Hey, how you doing? So keep this in mind as we share our audacity. So come on and share what we was talking about at Table Girl.
Well, we was at a restaurant. I'm not gonna say the name because they're not sponsoring us. So we was at a restaurant and my mom was like, "How do you deal with an unrequited crush?" And
Mhm.
I have a lot of audacity, but one thing I don't feel like I need to do is lie to somebody. I do not
Exactly.
believe I do not believe in wasting my time. Okay.
And so she
Um,
got me. 'Cause I ain't
personally,
listening to her.
because she asked me this because she was, dealing with somebody who liked her and she didn't like him back. So I'm going to tell y'all my tips and tricks on how to get rid of a person, pretty much.
Okay, come on.
Okay. So the first thing, if the crush is unrequited, I'm going to tell you that I'm just going to put myself in my shoes, and I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to do. Personally, I'm going to tell you that I don't like you. I'm going to be straight up. I don't have I owe people one thing, and that's the courtesy to be honest. That's the only thing I owe you. After that, it's not my business and I don't care.
But no, I did teach you that you owe people respect, but they also
That
have to
is
be respect.
respect. I respect you enough to know that I'm not going to waste your time or mine. And I'm also not going to lie to you and allow you to start getting these images of a future with me when I don't see it myself. Um,
So
there's
what
a
do you
lot
think
of things,
about ghosting?
ma'am.
What do you think about ghosting?
Oh, I am a fan. I am I am an advocate for acting like Casper every once in a while. If you aggravate me, I'm going to ghost you. I'm going to block you, and then I'm going to ghost you. And then I'm going to go to my other account and make sure that you don't have access to that one either. If you know that one exists, I'm going to make sure that you don't. I'm going to block you on all apps, and I'm going to act like you never existed, like a ghost.
See, you know what? That's a new trend nowadays. Is the ghost folks. But one of the things I do appreciate you telling them is that you don't have the same feelings. You know, and
Well, I
sometimes you
do.
know what you can tell somebody in a way that they don't want to receive it. And so, how would you deal with that when once you done tell them, you know what, we just ain't a match?
Well, that's when I start acting like Casper. Because after you decide that you don't want to listen to how I feel and you don't want to respect the fact that I'm trying to respect you enough to not want to waste your time, that's when I start to get irritated because I want the best for people. I don't really want them to set themselves up And that's exactly what you're doing when you're liking someone who doesn't like you back. You're setting yourself up for an expectation that eventually will not be fulfilled, and then you're going to be pouring into an empty cup. So I just decided to stop that. Boom, right there. Chop that thing in half. Boom. There's no cup anymore because it never existed. You can't pour into something that never existed. So, to answer your question, getting back on topic to answer your question, I will ghost you. I will block you and I will ghost you because after that, I have already given you what I felt like was enough. I have given you what I wanted you to have. It wasn't what you wanted, but it was what I was able to give you. And if I decide that I don't like you back, I will not deal with you anymore. I have no problem leaving people where they're at because, like I said earlier, I don't believe in wasting my time, especially not over somebody else.
You know what? Eyes you and use me. That's why
For
we
sure.
okay. So the next thing is for those people who are hard headed and then maybe try to go to the friend circle and try to put a little bug in your ear. How would you handle that?
Well, there's two things you need to realize about unrequited feelings. The first thing is that if you're going to be friends with somebody and you know that they like you, the first thing you have two options. You can either date them or you can cut it off. You only have those two options because if you decide that you want to continue to be friends with someone who has developed romantic feelings for you that you know you cannot return, that is when problems will start. You cannot be friends with someone, and I was always say this, you cannot be friends with someone who likes you romantically because it brought back memories of when I was friends with this one guy and he had a crush on me and I kept telling him I didn't like him. And I was young at that time, being the youngin' I decided to still be friends with him. Later on, I decided to try and give it a shot, which is what most people end up doing. That's why I said you only have two options. I decided to be one of them to give it a shot, and it sunk. That ship sunk. It didn't even need an iceberg. When I tell you that thing was, I got dogged out so badly, and by dogged out, I didn't mean like getting cheated on and stuff. He knew better than to do that, but he did decide that he wanted to bash me in front of like a group chat with like 12 people in it, and then he had his group of friends try to go against me, which that's the problem is the fact that he thought he could take me. That's the real thing. You can't.
Or change your mind about how you felt.
Most definitely, because you trying to have people gang up on me is going to make me not like you even more. And by that time we was already broken up. I just, because it only takes me about 3 days to figure out if I want to deal with you for another week or two. And that one, I actually, you want to know something?
I love about you. You don't waste no time. You said whole week. You didn't even think about a month or 3 months. Usually grown folks will try to give somebody at least a month to figure it out.
I don't have time for that. I believe in being realistic. If I can't even put up with you for a week, what makes you think I'm going to stay around for another 2 to 3? No, I can't. I refuse to. Let's stop that thing while it has brakes on it before the brakes start messing up. You have to go get your car fixed. And yeah, I think that's that. That's how.
Okay, so I don't even know what else to ask you at this point because we was having so much fun and we should have captured the moment, but it was kind of loud where we was at, And the music was good though. But okay, so if someone come to you and within your age bracket, how would you handle
coming to me as in what?
What advice would you give your friend circle?
Oh, well, it depends on if I know the person or not. I try to usually charter within neutral territory, because I don't want my friends, I guess, to get hurt, but I also want them to be realistic about what they want. Because at times, what they don't realize is that what you want also comes with something that you don't want. So I try to be on both sides and think of it from both perspectives.
So you just said a lot of people don't realize you get the good and the bad, the bitter with the sweet. So what you want also comes with what you don't want. That right there was good. You know, you get the good with the bad, the bitter with the sweet. That's one of the things my mom used to say. And she's like, girl, you know, you should share some of your viewpoints. So you have any questions for me at this point, or you want to kind of, what you want to do?
Mm. Well, I think that I really do try to be as informative in short amount of time because, like I said, it's kind of difficult to deal with the unrequited crush because they can be so persistent and it gets really irritating. Sometimes when you're dealing with somebody who likes you that you don't like it back, it does escalate into stalking, which I did. I did have to go through that too. It does escalate into stalking, ma'am.
At your age, must be online stalking.
It was online, but what I realized from because I had to if you're gonna watch me, one thing about me, I'm gonna know who's watching me. So I was watching him, watching them because there was multiple people watching them watch me, and
You know
actually
what?
one of the people,
There's a song by
one of
somebody. I saw you standing in the rain, watching me. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
one of their friends actually works at the Walmart near where we live, and because like I
Hey, really?
you want to know, I'm a,
Too much information. This is going to be on live. Go
I
ahead.
said near.
I don't care.
Okay.
I'll try to cut that off.
Well, I still gonna stand on what I said. Um, it that's what happened, and I was stalking them while they were stalking me because I was trying to figure out why I keep seeing all these strange people watching my story. Now I have almost 400 followers on Instagram. You should follow me. Is that Larissa? And I was trying to. I know most of those people, but I kept seeing these names. I was like, I don't know these people, but I do remember because like I said, I do a full background check on the person that I'm dating at the time. It may not last more than 3 days, but I usually know what I'm getting myself into for those 3 days. That's 72 hours. It takes me about 30 minutes to find everything I need to find on the person. Friends, birthday, mama, where they go to church, if they go to church, their religion, all that type of stuff. It does not take me long. So I was doing that was when I first started dating this one guy. And then the feelings became unrequited and I broke it off. I told him, I said, I just don't think that we're a match. And we aren't a match. He's crazy. And I like to choose peace, which really means I'm going to choose myself.
You know what? And a lot of people, they feel like that's selfish whenever you don't choose yourself. But when it comes to disturbing my peace, I don't want nobody to disturb my peace. Once I figure out you're gonna do that, you gotta go. Go wherever it is.
Absolutely. You really did bring up a good point about people not choosing themselves. Like you always tell me, self-preservation is the first law of nature. And I do not believe, and like I said, at the end of the day, I'm only one person. I'm going to only be able to take care of me. I can handle different responsibilities and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, my focus is me. So when I am, and this goes back to dealing with the unrequited crush, when I am,
where your focus is on you? Who would you say?
Me. I get that from me. I don't believe, I guess I don't know. People have been calling me selfish for years. And I guess, you know what, I am. And what about it?
And you know what? Sometimes it's good to be selfish because if you don't have enough self-love within yourself, how can you expect somebody else to love you, especially if you don't treat yourself well? And I think too, when people start choosing other people before they choose themselves, that helps to get either in a narcissistic relationship with codependency and or it leads to mental health problems. Because I think a lot of times people get triggered by relationships they should never be in. And when you try to tell them that, just let that shit go. Oh, just let that go. if you let that person, place, a thing go, you'll find out you won't have the headaches, you won't have the sleepless nights, you won't have low self-esteem, because at the end of the day, you got to live with you. You cannot run away from who you are. You can't run away from who you be. You can't run away from who you or where you be at, because there you are, there you be. And I think that's an African proverb too. Wherever you are, there you go.
I
So
totally
one
agree.
of the things I think is a good dose of healthy self-esteem is that you love yourself. And a good dose of healthy self-esteem is that you choose you and bet on you if you had to choose you with another person and if that other person is not acting accordingly. Never stay there and lower
Absolutely.
your standards just because of the fact that that person might have something that you like in terms of genitalia, sex life, money, or what have you. Because at the end of the day, you still have you, and you need you. You cannot
Exactly. You know
choose
something?
yourself. What?
That is, we can actually go into that because I have a lot to say on choosing me.
You know,
Um,
I whole lot to say about choosing me. So let's give it to them. This is the Audacity Series.
well, a lot of people say I have audacity to have a roster. Um, I do have a roster, and no, I'm not ashamed about it. I'm choosing me. And for me, I like to do a lot of things at one time, and that
Okay,
just
now
happened.
having a roster, it helps you to have data, gathering information. It also helps you to decide if that person is going to be within your friend group or compartmentalize who that person is to you.
Oh,
And having
oh,
a roster
absolutely.
also help you to know and identify your goals and if that person can come along with you. Because even though you want to have a lifelong of success, it does take people, but also it takes you knowing that everybody ain't gonna come along with you. So sometimes,
And that's what I'm saying. When I make my roster, and I have noticed that some people, they will keep people on pedestals that don't need to be there. But for me, I have me a mental checkbook. If I see for where I'm going in life, there are certain people that need to be around me. And after you stop, and I guess this is going to sound very narcissistic, but as soon as it stops being a mutually beneficial relationship, you will get demoted, and then eventually you'll get knocked off the list. That's how it goes. I make cuts like it's football. This is drafting season. You want to come to the team, or you're gonna be left at only be known for college ball. This is the big leagues. You know what I mean? I don't. I don't feel like I said. And this goes back to wasting time.
I learn something every day. Sometimes I don't think that I be teaching you all certain things, and then when I have a conversation, I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I taught you that. I didn't try, not in those good and bad habits, but at the end of the day, essentially, you are who you hang around too. Birds of a feather flock together. So one of the
Absolutely.
things essential is to make sure that you keep a good name. It's also essential that you all have goals, and as well as having some type of steps or some type of guidelines on how you're going to achieve it along with a deadline. I think it's very essential as you live in life and as you grow older that you reevaluate and evaluate what your current situation is as well as where you want to be in life. And I think, especially because I'm in my 40s, I think that a lot of women that are in my age bracket, if you will, sometimes we settle. Sometimes we don't assess the situation and get an opportunity to know our environment. And one of the things that comes with knowing your environments is knowing those who labor among you, your friend circle, because I think for me, it's most important what you're going to do when I'm not around. It's not what you're doing in my presence. How are you going to behave? If my name come up in a favorable or unfavorable way, how are you going to defend it? Or if you're not, or if you will bring the information back to me. And keep in mind now, every dog who carries a bone brings back a bone. But in the same token, um, how are you going to behave um, in a way that would be, I guess,
Favorable.
yeah, favorable. Whereas, do you have some of the same characteristics as me? Do you care about your community? Do you care about your
Right.
family? Do you care about your friends? And how do you treat people when you don't know them? That's very important as well as essential to know. Because one of the things I don't like one-sided relationships. And I think when you say mutually beneficial, I know you've been hearing me talk about that for a minute. You know, all relationships have to have a mutual beneficial um, relationship where both parties are meeting goals, they're feeling good about the situation and what's going on, and they have some type of agreement. When you find out that you're doing all the work in the relationship, you might need to leave. Or if you find out that none of y'all want to work on a relationship, you might need to leave. And I think sometimes, especially in my age group, we get suckered in, oh, this person been around us forever. Oh, this person is this and this
Ooh,
person is that.
we should
But the
talk
problem,
about that.
talk about what?
That
That
I
what?
think people value history more than they value the present. That's the problem that I have found in most relationships. People are not afraid to let things go. Like for me, I had to give up a friendship years, and I left them. I had to kick him to the curb because as I get older, me and his value system they don't align. Me and his mindset don't align. It's okay to say no. And this goes back to choosing yourself.
That's good. Because even in my age bracket, what I'm seeing is that there's a lot of women who are afraid to say no, especially no to this stupidity. You know, if it's something that you don't want to do, don't think that you have to say yes to everything. Because sometimes saying yes to something can be very detrimental to yourself and your self-esteem as well as your mental health. Because at the end of the day, you have to learn to choose you.
Always
Choose
choose
you.
yourself. And
Always choose.
always keep a roster. Always. And remember that if you're, and something that always helps me keep myself in order is that when we think of sports, there's always a revolving door. Always. You have to be okay with it being a revolving door. Always keep a roster. If your players are not playing like how they need to be played, go get you somebody else that's going to act accordingly to how you want. That may sound very narcissistic, but if I cannot benefit from a relationship and the only person that's benefiting is the other person, I will chop that person like nobody's business. I'll chop that thing up like a watermelon at a fruit stand. It is nothing for me to leave people right where I found them. Nothing.
Yes, but also sometimes it's better to leave people oh what? Leave people better than the way you found them as well, you know. Because there are some situations where you should do that, you know, but you have to make the decision wisely where this person falls in at. Because just because somebody's not on the roster today don't mean that they can get on the roster tomorrow.
And that's
Because, you
the
know,
best thing about seasons is that it's a revolving door. You always, for me, I always tend to give people a couple of chances before I decide that I don't want to deal with it. Because like I said, when I was referring to the relationships, it only takes me 3 days to know if I want to deal with you for a week, and 2 weeks to know if I want to deal with you for the rest of the month.
you got some good audacity. Ooh. He used to say who to who. You know
And
what?
that's
I
just
do
the
like.
hoodoo honcho way.
Yeah. You know what?
People who have used this has never I have gotten no complaints. People ask me about this all the time, and I have to tell them they ask me for advice. They're like Hoodoo Honcho, how do I get like you? How do you have so many people? You know what I mean? How is your roster always filled and you always have new players on the team? They're always wondering. They're always because they want to get like me, and they want to make their lives better. So I always tell them that you never don't do not be afraid. Do not let someone's looks stop you from looking deeper into their personality and seeing if y'all two align. That's the thing. Everything is about looks these days. But for me, it's what is in here. And if what is in here don't match with what is in here for me, you get chopped. It is.
Or is what you say don't align with what you do. Because that right there
Right.
is, or this big one is like, ooh, it's screaming out to me right now to say this, is that if you're taking me someplace I don't want to go, shit, I'm jumping ship. I don't want to go there. I don't want to be there. I'm not I'm not getting ready to stay on just because you say, okay, it's good, it's safe, we can go ahead and do this or what have you. No, you can go ahead and do that. But me and myself and I should be someplace else doing something else.
Exactly. And I'd rather have a good time with myself than have a bad time with other people because I'm afraid to let them go and I'm afraid to be alone. I
So
love
you know,
myself enough to know what
I
I
like
want
how
to put up
you
with.
and I like the fact that you enjoy your own company. You know, because I enjoy my own company. Yesterday,
Me too. I'm awesome.
I really enjoyed myself sitting outside, and I enjoyed my company.
I
And it was
do.
just nothing out for the most part. Then I
I mean,
had
I
got a
got
little.
the like. I know that I have the sauce. See, and this is another thing is knowing your self worth. When you know who you are and you know that you got the juice, I refuse to settle for less. Why in the world would I get unconcentrated artificial orange juice when I got the fresh squeeze right here?
There you go, girl. There you go.
You
Yeah.
know? Why would I? I'm the bomb.com. My chip has been dipped. I'm that girl. All eyes on me. I am the best. I am who I am and I know what I want. And I refuse to settle for anything less.
Now, I remember when I was growing up and I was saying all that stuff that you said, my mom was upset with me. Cause I was like, I know who I am, I know what I want and how I want it done. And if I can't get it done by somebody else the way that I want it done, then I'll do shit myself. And then she'd be like, I got another name she loved calling me by that I didn't like. But she was like, how could you think that way? And I was like, how could I not think that way? Because when
Exactly.
people knowing of who you are, you know what you want. And if you see that it's not getting done the way that you want it, go ahead and handle it yourself. I mean, at least you know it's gonna
At
get
least you know
handled
it's gonna get done.
the way that you want to do it. You know.
Exactly. Know your worth. Always know your worth and then tax it. That's what I do. I
And speaking of taxes now, if you would like to get some of our amazing products and services, hop on over to www.auntmaryniece.com. Make sure you put an S behind that Y because you know what? We are both Aunt Mary's niece. Now, without further ado, in 2022, you got to understand, Lady Q ain't playing no games. We're going to have a series. This is our Audacity Series. And we got some more things that line up because it makes no sense for you to be suffering either quietly or out loud. But the only thing you have to do is make a choice. Make a choice to choose you. That's why we also offer self-love for not only those of the older bracket like myself, who was a seasoned saint, honey, or for those who are a youthful jubilee. There you go. That her right there, youthful jubilee, who know how to squeeze out that orange juice for the orange. But you know what? For people like me, I'm just gonna put it on the table and just roll it, roll it, roll it, honey. And so as I'm rolling, I hope that you're getting some spiritual insights on what you can do for yourself. Because all things spiritual actually happen. Well, all things naturally also happen spiritually. So what we're trying to get you to do is have some audacity. Sometimes your help save your life. Sometimes learning to say no. Like I tell my kids sometimes, and she one of them now. I say, if you get that inner feeling, that inner knowing, your intuition, that ooh, sha na na, and that thing say, hell no, don't go. Hell no, don't go. Because one of the things that I was taught as a child was that our words was our bond. But as an adult, one of the things I found out is sometimes your words should not be your bond. Sometimes you need to change up a situation, especially when somebody's changing up on you to save your life. Because a lot of things could be done better, and we won't have a lot of issues, if you will. Sometimes going with people, places, and things that we should not go has hampered our life and our lifestyle, or some people have gotten unalive because they didn't say no. Now, in saying no, sometimes let me tell you a little second. Sometimes you got to say no soft. So that's why sometimes that little soft no is Casper the ghost. You heard I say? The soft no is Casper. You just go quietly about your business against the noise and haste, and just remember what silence there may be. But sometimes you got to just tell a person no. But if you feel like it's going to endanger your life, go ahead and unsubscribe, unlike, and don't comment to certain people, places, and things. You know, but
And
always choose.
always choose you. And I think just to end this off, just to have, I think to say my final things, as far
Mhm.
as everything that has been said, um, make sure you stand in your truth. Sometimes silence is the loudest of words.
Mhm.
The
Actions speak louder
loudest.
than words, honey. Actions, action, action. When somebody don't have actions, they have already spoken for you. That's one of the things that I had to learn back in 2017 that I kind of like forgot. It's called nonverbal. So one of my friends that normally look at the subscription. I want to call her name out so bad, but I want to make sure I have it correctly. Have taught me, sometimes you just have those nonverbals. You ain't got to say no. Sometimes you can do it quietly. Just don't do it. That's the no when you don't do it. You know. What else did we want to bring to this audacity discussion? I wish we had the same ambiance that we did up in that restaurant. Child, we had some fun. I couldn't believe some of
Well,
the stuff.
I just to end this on a lighthearted note. First, I hope that y'all stick around for the Audacity series. We're going to be tackling everything and anything under the sun. The goal of this series is to help you out and to also gain different perspectives on different perspectives. So I think this is without further ado. Thank you for listening to Hoodoo Honcho talking. And I appreciate all of you who are watching this and who are going to watch this. Hopefully you have gained something. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and don't forget to give a donation. It's right there in the little sliding bar. Don't forget to give a donation. If you want it for Lady Q, put it in the notes. If you want it for Hoodoo Honcho, put it in the notes. All is appreciated, all is all, and everything is a blessing. I thank you for having me on your show, Lady Q. Thank you so much.
Okay. I was you and use
And
me.
use me.
So without further ado, make sure you also go to auntmarynese.com. And then we also got another website that I forgot to mention is amn217magic.com. But you can't get any orders on there. But if there's something that you would like, just make sure you just drop us a line or two. You can send an email, especially if you want us to talk about anything, or you want us to make any custom products. But one of the things I realized I did not post on our website, we do sell crystals, honey. Yes, we have crystals for all kinds of stuff. Now that's something that we're gonna probably have to post so that you can see. But nevertheless, we bid you peace, blessings, and understanding, because as above, so below. And we want you to get a deeper understanding of who you are, who you be, who you was. And we that audacity series. I was about to say the uncomfortable conversation. This could be a little bit uncomfortable too. But today we're asking you, we're telling you, we're bidding you, we're hoping that you will choose you. Because remember, self-preservation is the first law of nature. And if you don't know by now, your experience will teach you your lesson. Okay, so I'm Lady Q, and we are part of Aunt Mary Niece. So until we meet again, my friends, we bid you farewell. Bye bye.